Alright, this is Vegeta8259 again, and today I'm just doing a video response to the question of does size matter in relation to action figures, model kits, whatever. And the short answer for me is yes and no. Uh, I think size matters to a point, but you can certainly have model kits that are too big, in my opinion. And I've got some model kits right here to help illustrate that. So right here, we've got a 1/200 scale RX-78, and this is the speed grade. And really, in my opinion, this is just way too small. Pretty much the only reason I bought this kit was because it was like $4 and I was just curious about speed grades. Like HCM Pros, for example. HCM Pros are also 1/200 scale, the same size. I would never ever buy an HCM Pro. Some of you may be fans, but I'm not. If HCM Pros were like $15 or $20, I might buy one. But they're asking like $40 for something that's this big. Now, granted, they have very nice detail, but still, size matters when they're this small. So I really don't care for small scale stuff like this. Next, we move up to 1/144 scale. Now, there are improvements, with the exception of HCM Pros, which usually have pretty good articulation. A 1/144 scale is usually going to have better detail in articulation and sculpting than a 1/200 scale. And that's usually the case as you go up in scale, but not always. I'll explain that later. I really don't have many 1/144 scale kits. I know I just reviewed 3 1/144 scale Gundam Wing kits in a row, but I didn't buy those because of the scale. I really bought those just out of pure nostalgia because I used to have them 10 years ago when I first got into Gundam, and they long since got messed up, so I wanted to rebuy them and paint them and do a better job this time around. But in general, I'm just not a big fan of 1/144 scales. Uh, just because, generally speaking, like the 00 model kits, for example, 1/144 scale Exia. Okay, man, that's a bad example. 1/144 scale 00 Gundam, for example, has I don't have the 1/144 scale high grade. I have the 1/100 scale no grade. The high grade 00 Gundam has better articulation and posability, but it doesn't look as good. And really, for me, that's the main seller for a model kit is looks, because most of my kits are, when I display them on a shelf, they're just in a straight standing pose. So really, I'm more tempted to opt for a 1/100 scale over a 1/144 scale high grade, even if the posability is better on the high grade. I think that the 1/100 scale version usually looks better. That's not always the case. Let's see if I can think of one. Like, for example, Gundam X high grade just came out. The old 1/144, the old 1/100 scale high grade Gundam X looks pretty dated. It's like the old Gundam Wing kits. There's a lot of panel lines. The proportions aren't quite right. And the 1/144 scale high grade Gundam X that just came out does look better. But because of its size, I'm probably not going to get it. I'm probably just going to hold out for a master grade, which will have better detail and a larger size. So I think this would be a good point to move on to the next scale, 1/100 scale. Now, whether it's a master grade or not, I just prefer the size. This is the perfect size for a model kit or an action figure, in my opinion. Um, it's it's not so small that you feel like you're gonna break it, but it's not so big that it just overcrowds everything on your shelf. In my opinion, 1 to 100 scale for Gunpla anyway is the ideal size for a model kit, because I mean, it's big enough that you can get really nice sculptural details in the fine detail parts, and you still get all the posability and articulation of usually more than you would have in a 1 to 144 scale. Uh, like I mentioned earlier, with the exception of a few cases like the 00 riser. But then again, you can bet if they make a master grade 00 riser, it'll probably put the 1 to 144 scale high grade to shame. But yeah, I really like 1 to 100 scales the best, specifically master grades, but I also have lots of 1 to 100 scale no grades. Several from 00, a couple from Seed, several from Gundam Wing. So, yeah. Got that. And then, next you have 1/60th scale. Now, for me, size-wise, this is about the limit of a model kit getting too big. I really doubt that I would buy anything bigger than a perfect grade. And really, when I do buy a perfect grade, I'm not buying it for the size. I'm buying it for the detail. Because really, this is a little bit too big for my taste. But the detail on these things is just incredible. So that's why I buy them, not necessarily for their size. And anything bigger than this, I really can't see myself buying. Like the 1/48th scale RX-78 that Bandai just came out with a few months ago, I can't really see myself buying it, especially since it's like high grade quality and it's just hollow on the inside. And actually, the posability on that thing is not quite as good as master grade, for example. But anyway, there are also much larger model kits than that. Uh, let's see. The only thing that I think Bandai makes in 1/35th scale are the jumbo grade action figures, which are roughly twice as big as a perfect grade. Oops. So you're talking a 2 foot tall action figure. Jumbo grades aren't model kits, even though they say grade in the title. They're actually just giant action figures. You do have to build the weapons, but that's it. I have seen resin model kits that are 1/35th scale. I've actually seen a 1/35th scale XS Gundam resin kit. And I kid you not, it's like 3 feet tall. It's ridiculously big. And ridiculously expensive, too. But at the same time, it's ridiculously awesome. And you can even get bigger than that. Bandai makes a 1/24th scale RX-78 that's under their HY2M line, and it's seriously like 4 feet tall. And you can hold the RX-78's beam rifle in your hand. It's not quite big enough, but you can still hold it in your hand. And those are actually really hard to come by, and as you would expect, really expensive. And believe it or not, you can actually get bigger than that. I don't think they're actual model kits, but Bandai does make these 1/12th scale Gundams. I think they just made Gundam, the Green Zaku, and Char Zaku, and they're like seriously like about as big as me. And I don't think they were actually for sale anywhere. I think they were just made for like store displays. But yeah, enormous. That's about as big as you're gonna get, unless you try and buy the 1/1 scale Gundam statue in Japan. So I guess that's my take on it. In summary, I like 1 to 100 scale better. And even if it's not a 2 scale Gundam model kit, anywhere between 6 and 10 inches is about the right size for an action figure model kit. Anything bigger than that is a little bit too big, and anything that's this small, I'm probably not even going to bother with. So, that's about it for my response, and I will see you guys next time.